What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy, Cam ATL, and welcome back to another Prize Picks video with your boy. Drop a like down below because I already know you're gonna love it. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Comment anything in the comment section and enter your name into the $50 giveaway that I do every single week on this channel. Thank you guys for joining me as always. The winner of the $50 giveaway from last week is Nigel Harris. Nigel Harris, shout out to you. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for watching. Thank you to everybody who commented, watches, all that good stuff, man. Last week was a fantastic week. We swept multiple times. It was just a great week for us, man. Before I start this video off with, I have to say, um, David Peterson being pulled out of that game at 61 pitches is the dumbest shit I've ever seen in my entire life. David Peterson was pitching a solid game. Even the earned run he gave up wasn't really even his fault. Like, dude was having a solid overall game. Sure, he walked a couple guys. No big deal. He was having a solid overall game to the point where the tool knew. Like, the tool was like, yeah, he's going to have a solid enough game to hit, no problem. He's the best pitcher fantasy score that there is. The tool knew. The only thing that could stop the tool from hitting once again on that play and us sweeping once again was the manager pulling him at a ridiculously low pitch count at 61 when he wasn't even struggling. It would make more sense if he got the bases loaded on him or something around 61 pitches and they're like, okay, that's it. We're going to go ahead and pull him. But no, it's after he had just ended an inning, fine. No problems. Didn't struggle. Come back out and he gets replaced at 61 pitches when he's doing just fine. Mets were up, so he would have gotten the win. One more inning and he gets the he pitches far enough to get another bonus on Prize Picks. So yeah, it was he hits easily had he pitches another inning or so. So yeah, at 61 pitches for a guy to get pulled when all we needed was like one more inning is a rough one. But so hey, but it's all good because we're right back to sweeping today, baby. Let's get it. We have been hot. The prop tool, as always, has been hot. Let's hit the player prop chat, see what's up, see what's going on with the members over here, see how they did yesterday. Tanner TLK, very nice, nice hits. God J0626, nice little WNBA in baseball. Beautiful. Beautiful. Four slips cash for today. Very profitable day off the tool. Presto booming. Good hit. Good job. Baldwood Bourbon. Got nice hit. Milan Boa. Nice hit. Matcha the Merciful. Good job. Shout out to everybody, man. Shout out to everybody. Um, it was a good day, man. It was a good day overall. Everybody hit. If David Peterson hits, I make over $1,000 in props yesterday. If David Peterson goes over his pitcher fantasy score. So I'm sure y'all can imagine how flabbergasted I was when he gets pulled at 61 pitches, which is wild. Anyway, I have a good grasp on what I'm liking so far for today. Don't want to dwell too much on what happened yesterday, but yeah, that was a rough one. That's a rough way to lose when you've got a guy pitching solid and gets pulled at 61. I mean, if they come out and say he's hurt or something, then I'll understand. But until then, yeah, they got some splaining to do. Anyway, let's get straight into it. Starting off first, Byron Buxton is my hitter fantasy score I like the most. He's only at a prop line of 7. This Minnesota offense is one of the top totals of the entire day. They've got a righty-lefty matchup against Cox for Kansas City. This is a fantastic spot here for Buxton at only 7. Righty-lefty matchup, prop line way too low. Projection at almost 10, 2.74 differential. You have to imagine if Minnesota's going to put up a ton of runs today, which they're expected to do, then Byron Buxton is going to be a big part of that. At the end of the day, for a team with one of the highest totals on the entire day, for their best batter to have a prop line of 7 is ridiculous. I mean, that's just crazy. So yeah, over 7 hitter fantasy score for Byron Buxton is where we're going to hit there. And then I like a total bases. Let's go Joey Wiemer for Milwaukee today for total bases. We've been doing really well on these total bases. Easy money on these most nights. So hoping that we can hit that once again. But Joey Wiemer for Milwaukee, total bases at 0.5. Righty-lefty matchup against Smiley. He has over a 300 batting average versus lefties. Vegas likes the over at minus 135, and his projection is 1.19 total bases, so 0.69 differential there for Joey Wiemer, and that makes him the best total base option that we have on this slate. So over on Joey Wiemer, total bases of 0.5, that could bump up or be taken off the board entirely, so I would get that in whenever you can. And then over on Byron Buxton of 7. As always, Props Made Easy members, as y'all know, when I come in and do these videos, it's like 8:30 Central time right now. So it's early. A lot of props haven't been even dropped on Prizepicks yet. So make sure you check it out. Pitcher fantasy score, pitching outs, all that stuff is always really, really good value that pops in. So make sure you check that out. If you're new to Props Made Easy, also, by the way, if you're looking at on your mobile, there's a lot of questions at times coming to me about how they can view the tool on their phone the best way. And that's why we put this right here on every single page. Best way to view the tool, and it gives you a literal how-to on how to look at desktop mode on iPhone and on Samsung. So regardless of what type of phone you have, it'll show you how to look at desktop mode. Desktop mode will put the whole chart in the screen for you. So you don't have to, look at it in mobile view. Mobile view is really hard. So changing it to desktop mode, I literally live on desktop mode at this point. Like, I don't use Props Made Easy unless I'm on desktop mode. So it's super easy to do. If you don't know how to do it, you can follow the steps right here. I know some of the people who join are a little on the older side, kind of not in touch with technology as much as some others. So yeah, that we have that there just in case. All right. Um, let's look at first inning runs. All right. So the over that we're liking for today is going to be the Cincinnati Reds and the Washington Nationals. Luke Weaver has been dreadful in the first inning. This is a 10.5 over under game, a 9.81 combined ERA from these two, 2.13 combined whip. That's the big number to look at right here. These guys have a combined 2.13 whip. I don't know if you know what whip is, but whip is pretty much how they're missing bats. Like how are they doing here? Like overall kind of number giving you an idea of how these pitchers are. And 2.13 is dreadful. As you can see, 1.12, 1.16. This is bad, and it's a 1.4. This is really bad at a 2.13. So both offenses have been okay in the first innings. 0.788 combined OPS from these two offenses in the first inning. So yeah, the over is definitely the side to go for the Reds and Nationals. And then the best under is the Cubs and the Brewers. Teheran's been solid in the first inning. Drew Smiley is going to give up a hit to Weimer, but other than that, he's been okay. He's a yellow, so he's mid-range. Over-under on the game is a 9, so that's not the greatest look, but they have a combined 3.67 ERA in the first inning, 1.19 whip, which is a solid whip. Both offenses haven't scored a ton in the first inning, and they only have a 0.701 OPS. They're not hitting the ball very hard when they do make contact, so outside of Joey Weimer doing damage if he gets up to plate in the first inning, and if Weimer gets up to hit in the first inning, then that means they'll probably put runs up anyway, because he's probably going to bat like 8th or so, like he normally does. So, but anyway, Cubs and Brewers under is the best option as of right now, and the Reds and Nationals. After we get done with this video, we'll come back to it and see if we have any new value that's popped in. All right? All right. Csgo. We don't have any Csgo on the board for today. Unfortunately, I love playing CSGO. All right, so for WNBA, do we have WNBA? This is yesterday, isn't it? Yeah, this is yesterday's stuff right here. Let me see. Yeah, we don't have any WNBA either. Damn, looks like video might just be MLB today. We have a couple soccer. No soccer really. You see the differentials? Biggest over differentials is 0.33. Biggest under differential is 0.22. So not a ton of value. If I'd had to choose one, it would be the over on Marcelino, over the 1.5. But there's not a ton of value there. So really, I would encourage everybody to just kind of focus on baseball today. All right, focus on baseball. Baseball is really good value too. Look at some of these hitter spots are really, really low. But remember, another reminder as well. I know some new people come into the tool and they're like, okay, best differential is the way I need to play it. They immediately think all of the hitter fantasy scores is all they need to play. When it comes to hitter fantasy score and pitcher fantasy score, I encourage you to sprinkle those into other prop types. Like I encourage you to use actual regular prop types majority of the time, like total bases, like pitcher strikeouts, pitching outs, earned runs allowed, all that stuff. Now, there is great value at hitter fantasy score at times, like you can see with Byron Buxton, and there's amazing value at pitcher fantasy score sometimes, as you will see once that pops in. Take advantage of the best ones there, but don't like make a six pick of just fantasy score. Remember, it's fantasy score. It's extremely hard to predict a fantasy score. All you could do is go off the data and the matchup and stuff and kind of give them a projection to where they should be doing in that matchup. and based off of how they've done for like their averages in that type of matchup and all that good stuff. But fantasy score is not something, if you ask a lot of people who have been doing this for a long time, you don't really want to rely too heavily on fantasy score. There are times where it's fantastic, like with NBA especially too. Like sometimes it's like 12 differentials, like ridiculous, where it's like, okay, yeah, they just, this is wrong, so I need to take advantage of that. So there's times where you definitely need to take advantage of that. And for me, my advice to you and how I like to use hitter fantasy scores, I'll look and just kind of go off my gut and what I'm feeling on the slate. Like, I really like Minnesota. Vegas really likes Minnesota. So I'm like, okay, if Minnesota's a top overall team total, Byron Buxton's their best bat. 7 is too low. You know what I'm saying? That type of thing. So, you know, just kind of use your gut call on it at the same time, but you don't want to make 6 mans of just hitter fantasy score. All right, let's go over our plays. Over on Byron Buxton of 7 prop line. And then we have total bases over on Joey Wiemer from Milwaukee. Righty-lefty matchup, has over a 300 batting average versus lefties. Should be able to get on base here. All he needs is 1 base. First inning runs total. Let's see if anything's changed. Over on the Reds and Nationals still, and then the under on the Mariners Giants has taken over as the top overall. I'm imagining that this one has taken over due to this combined whip being amazing at 0.77 and the over-under of the game total is only 7.5. So, and Brian Wu has a 0. So this is a fantastic spot to grab the under there. So Mariners and Giants is the new best under, and then Reds and Nationals remains the best over. And then we don't have any CSGO. Don't have any Wnba. If any CSGO or Wnba has been added after 8:30 Central, then that's why it's not in the video. I'm only able to do what I have in front of me right now, which is pretty much just baseball picks today. All right. As always, good luck, y'all. Remember the rule of thumb when it comes to player props, regardless of how great we feel and how great and amazing the prop tool is, bet an amount of money you're willing to lose, man. Stay disciplined. That way you never deal with issues where you're like, super annoyed and letting it mentally affect you when things don't go right. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not really bothering you because you lost an amount of money that you're okay to lose. You know what I mean? So that's how you really need to go about this. At the end of the day, I'm not the type of person to come in here and try to sell y'all on the ability to never lose and stuff like that. I'm going to be realistic with you. You will lose. Losing will happen. There are going to be people out there who tell you, oh, they got a secret and they win way more than everybody else. That's just a sales tactic to get you on whatever they got going on. At the end of the day, all that matters in the props world is how much data you're able to research, how much time you have to study, and that's how much success you're going to have. And the prop tool just kind of takes all that data that you could possibly study and puts it together, which is why I do believe Props Made Easy is the best option that you could possibly use. If you don't believe me, you can ask any Props Made Easy member that's used the tool consistently, not just for a couple days, consistently, and they will tell you the same exact thing. Like, it puts you in position to place your money on bets that pros would be putting their money on. You know what I mean? Like, the best, like, literally, when you come on the prop tool, you click on pitcher strikeouts, Luke Weaver is the best value. Martin Perez is the next best value. Like, you immediately know the best spots based off of the data to put your money on instead of going with spots that, just because of a Vegas line. Like, let me see if Vegas is on anywhere. Nothing crazy. Like, everything's kind of nothing crazy. But there's times where, like, you'll see somebody like this, for example. Look at Gavin Williams against Atlanta. You have money on the over at minus 130. The prop tool has him over 4.5, but literally barely. It's a 0.07, so it's a yellow bet. So some people will come in here and be like, oh, money's on the over at minus 130. I better go over. That's easy, no problem. It's not as simple as you might think it is. And Vegas lines don't matter at all. Okay, a lot of times when you see a Vegas line, like the other day, Garrett Cole, for example. Garrett Cole's Vegas line was like minus 150 on over 6.5. He goes out and throws 5 strikeouts. But everybody grabbed the over because he was at minus 150. You think Vegas doesn't know that? Vegas knows that if we put the line this heavy on one side, everybody will bet that side. They can manipulate what side of the line y'all are betting on by doing that. Because everybody is so basic in this industry most of the time. So when you come on here, yellow is kind of close call bets. It's where our projection is pretty much right around where Vegas has it. Green shows you, okay, data's pointing a little bit more towards, the value in those spots as the yellow. So that's really what you want to look for is green differentials outside of hitter fantasy score and pitcher fantasy score, which every day you'll see hitter fantasy score at the top of here. Okay, that doesn't mean you need to do a six-man with all hitter fantasy score, but you need to pick and choose your favorites out of the hitter fantasy score spots, and then pair them up with other prop types like pitching outs, earned runs allowed, stuff like that. I've done really, really well over the last 4 months or so with the prop tool utilizing pitching outs, pitcher fantasy score. I've done really well on unders on pitchers on the road, stuff like that. Like just little things that you learn as you play as well. You know what I mean? You gain experience. Anyways, y'all have an amazing Monday, man. Y'all be safe out there. Have great days, and let's finish it off with a sweep tonight. Peace.